President Trump's Environmental Protection Agency putting Biden policies under the microscope, especially when it comes to our drinking water.
The EPA announced it will review some strict Biden-era regulations on forever chemicals, which remain in the body when ingested. Trump officials are also looking to ensure water safety while cutting the cost of those regulations, estimated at $1.5 billion a year.
EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin joins us right now to help explain this. It's good to see you, Mr. Administrator. Let's just start with this. Forever chemicals. It sounds a little scary. Define that term for us.
Some people try to paint with one broad brush all of these PFAS chemicals, but we shouldn't. And the research is ongoing where PFOA and PFOS are examples of two of these chemicals where the research, the data is a lot more further along than some of the other chemicals that are being researched. And it's showing, there are a lot of studies out there that show that these are cancer-causing chemicals. There's currently a regulation, a standard that was set of something called 4 parts per trillion, which we're going to keep. But what we're hearing from these local drinking water systems is that they need a bit more time in order to come into compliance. And we're going to help work with them and provide the technical assistance. The other piece of it is that we don't think that American consumers should have to pay to clean up their own water. And under the current system, that's how this is going to end up playing out. Now, there's other chemicals that fall under this PFAS that the Biden administration, the Biden EPA, skipped some steps in the rulemaking process, which causes some legal concerns, and we're going to have to go back and fix it. That was also part of this week's announcement.
So explain, should we be worried about our drinking water?
Well, it depends where you live. Not all drinking water across this country is equal. However, all across the country, most Americans have pristine, great water. There are drinking water systems, though, that are showing up at more than the 4 parts per trillion. Now, we have to work with these local drinking water systems to help them get into compliance. But here's more good news. And there is good news while we're talking about addressing the PFOA and PFAS, the PFOA and the PFOA, is that there are companies that are developing new technologies to be able to clean this out of the drinking water systems. This has been around for a really long time. I represented the congressional district that had a whole bunch of these issues, legacy, long-term contamination, firefighting foam that was used going back decades. A lot of drinking water systems are already cleaning it up. So even though I put out my announcement this week, for example, the Suffolk County Drinking Water Authority, which is where I live, that's my home on the east end of Long Island, they're moving forward with cleaning up their drinking water to hit that standard. So kudos to them. And I would encourage these drinking water systems to look at these new technologies that are out there to hopefully clean it up at a cheaper cost.
You know, so it's interesting, as bureaucrats in government and the EPA has for a long time neglected those serious issues, they have been busy forcing people to put these, buy cars with this automatic start and stop switch so that every time they come to a stoplight, the car shuts off and then has to restart. You've recognized that this is idiotic, it does nothing for the environment, and everybody hates it. What are you going to do about it?
The Obama EPA in 2012 created this off-cycle credit to incentivize these car manufacturers to add this feature to vehicles, which so many Americans absolutely hate. Leave it to the federal government 13 years ago to go out of their way to get this in more vehicles. I've experienced it myself, but I've heard from so many other people how frustrated they are that they go to a red light, their car stops, they go to the next light, their car stops again, and they might have some feature that allows them to turn it off, but they're wondering, why the heck do I have to turn this feature off every time I'm starting my car? They're scratching their head wondering, why haven't we hit the point where I could just choose to turn it off once, and every time I start my car, it just stays off? A lot of people are wondering, what kind of impact does this have on their engine, on their starter? How much does it really save in gas? But despite all of that, The American public is demanding that the Trump EPA take this action, so we're going to take it.
Yeah. So
I think if you do it, man, you're going to be the most popular guy in the country because we hate it.
This is the perfect encapsulation of the federal government. Not only because it's tax incentives, not only do people hate it and they don't want it, but they also have to pay for it. And so I'm so glad that you're finally addressing it. Lee Zeldin, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.